In this podcast, we share some of the challenges and difficulties in life. Content may include open dialogue about topics such as suicide, depression, feeling lost or alone, anxiety, addiction struggles, homophobia, and descriptions of bullying experiences.
Well, hello, Cynthia. How are you today?
Good. Hi, Cal.
Hey,
And
Connor.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I want to really say this right up front. I appreciate Connor coming into Cynthia and my life and helping us get this podcast going.
No,
So
it's much appreciated.
he's like given his professionalism where we had difficulties and issues after issues after issues, and it's coming together.
That it is.
And I thank you very much, Connor.
No problem, guys.
No, thank you so much. We wouldn't be able to do it right now.
No, we wouldn't be able to do it. You know?
We'd be
We would
trying to-
probably still figure it out.
We'd be trying to turn on our transistor AM radio, dial in.
Yeah.
Well, I'm here for you guys.
Yeah. Okay, this episode of the podcast is more about the beginnings of Bob's and my relationship. And it mainly comes around his mother, which her name is Frances. She was a 4'7" New Yorker from the Bronx and had this attitude that you don't shit on me. But anyway, she was a strong woman, and she took care of her two boys because Bob's father passed away when he was 9 years old. So it was just Mom and his brother and himself.
What is Bob's brother's name?
Oh, Jesus.
All right, we can edit that out.
Oh, wait. He's not in our life, so I don't think about him. So that's what my problem is. I'm old, and I have to go back. So, pause. I got to think about it.
That's okay.
Jesus.
You said to ask you questions.
Yeah, I know.
I guess that wasn't a good question, right?
No, it's an important question. I should know the name right off the top, but Jesus.
I don't think that was his name.
Yeah, probably not.
Change it. I'll think about it, but it has to.
We'll just keep going.
Yeah, we'll cut that out and get it.
So where was I?
And how old is he? How tall is he?
How tall is who?
Bob's brother. I'm just messing with you. You can't answer one question about him. Maybe you can answer another question about him. I don't know. Does he have brown hair?
Believe it or not, Frances's kids were all tall. She was short. And it's like, oh, there's a story to tell about his adopted brother was actually his half-brother, but that's later on down the road.
Oh. Telenovela right here.
Okay, cut this out.
Got it?
No, we can't. I got to find out what his name is.
Just keep recording. You can see what happens.
Figure it out. I haven't pressed pause yet.
He's smart. It's like,
I'm just letting it ride.
Jesus.
it's okay.
Okay, well, let's just go on to the story.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Frances raised
So I want
the
to ask
two.
you a question if you don't. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Cynthia, will you stop interrupting? Oh, my God. Well, anyway, it was hard for her, and she was a very strong woman, and she opened up 2 beer bars and had a corner little mini grocery store. She was an entrepreneur, and she took care of her kids. And then, lo and behold, I come into their world. I met Bob. He changed my life. He actually saved my life. He was 20, and I was 15 and a half years old. And this was the day I met him, and I already told that story, was July 10th, 1969. And when I met his mother, she was so welcoming. She totally understood what I was about, totally understood how I was hurting, because Bob talked to her. Bob was very much into himself and very well accepted by his mom and his other brother, Richard. Richard.
Richard.
We got it.
Well, his other brother was Richard. He was supposedly adopted, but we learned after Bob's mom passed away that his father was overseas and deployed. He was in the Navy. And his mother had a little fling and had a baby. Well, in the meantime, he was gone over a year or so, and then she had the baby. So she went through the church, and the church covered it up because they didn't want the scandal, whatever. So they made arrangements to have him adopted so she can have the baby. And well, when Francis's friend told us that, we're going, nah, that's not true. And she goes, no. Back then, it was a taboo to have interrelationships and then have a child and just do all that. So when the father got back home and she had this baby, she said, we're adopting this child. I came across this child and needed an adoption, and we have to adopt the child. And they did.
So he didn't know she gave birth to this baby.
Nope, he never did. We never even knew. Bob didn't know. Richard didn't know, because even Richard was going through trying to find out who his parents were, who, his mother was. And then when Bob found out, he called Richard. He goes, oh my God, do you remember what? And you don't want to know what Aunt Helen told us? She goes, Mom is your mother. You're my brother. And it's like amazing. I go, oh my God, their family's just like my family. Soap opera, issues after issues after issues. But where's the fucking truth? Well, that's what this podcast is about. Well, anyway, so Francis was taking care of these two boys, and then I came into their world, and she made me feel so welcome. And then we actually grew and loved each other and respected each other and had dinners together and would become a family and got closer and closer and closer. So Francis loved me more than my own mother did. And it's amazing. It took me and Bob to replace something I didn't have. And it became an amazing world. So Francis was an amazing part of our lives. And when Bob and I were together almost like 10 years, going through lots of issues. That was like the coronations I talked about, and moving from Long Beach to Orange County, and then doing things there. And while we were living in Orange County, we made tons of friends, because Bob was a talker and he makes friends everywhere. And we met these two friends and became friends for a long time, Eric and Modesto. And Bob and I decided to get married because we knew we were meant to be together. So we went through the gay church and we made arrangements. Now, remember I said we got together on July 10th, but when we decided to do this, it happened where it was on the weekend because everybody works and we couldn't get together and all that kind of stuff. So we could get married on July 15th, which was like a Saturday. So anyway, made all the arrangements, notified everybody. And on July 15th, in Eric's and Modesto's backyard, we got married. Now, Modesto is such an artistic person. She does the floats every January up in LA, and she's done that for years and years, and she just got this talent.
Well, she Rose Parade? For the Rose Parade?
Rose Parade, okay. Yeah, most definitely. And she's done it for years and years and years. If she's still alive, I wouldn't be surprised she's still not doing it. But we're no longer friends. We've stayed out of communication for many, many, many years. But anyway.
Why is that?
Just separate, just people just get out of your life. It's like all of our customers, we get real close to them and then they move away and there's no contact or whatever. But so anyway, Modesto made the wedding cake, but she had plants and flowers, but she didn't put like icing flowers. She put the real flowers all over the cake, the wedding cake, and it just looked beautiful and such talent and just like out of the box, And this was 1979, because it was 10 years later that we got married. So anyway, we had that. So during the procession, Bob's mom, while Bob was standing at the altar, walked me down the aisle. And she literally was elated to give me away to her son because she loved us both that much. And that kind of love is earned, not given. It was giving on her part, but she saw me and I earned it from her because she saw the good side of me, not the bad side of me that I was always told that I was. So that's why Frances is very important in my life. But anyway, as the stories goes, life goes on, and I got tons and tons of stories, and they'll go out of this area and into this time and out this way and in this way, and wherever it goes, it's telling my truth. So many years have gone by. Frances was retiring and living by herself, and we finally agreed to move Mom into the home, to our house, because she's family. We care about her. But I'm going to tell you, she was one of these people that will go into your kitchen and arrange it the way she wants it. And another thing is always comes to memory is we used to play canasta. And canasta is a mind game. It's you hold cards and you throw all your cards down and get all the points against you, whoever doesn't put their cards down. And it's and we would get to the point where we're just like cats and dogs fighting all the time and get so pissed. Oh my God, she would get so mad at me, or I would get so mad at her. But you want to know something? We got to the point where we just played that game because it gets your frustrations out. And we both knew that. And we accepted it. So it's just negativities and positives and the yin and yangs of these worlds. You have to have a negative to have a positive. So that's how Bob and I have defined our lives, and that's how I talk to everyone else about. And it is so true. You have to have a negative to know what a positive is. So life gives you those. But with Frances, she was an amazing woman to me. I respected her so much. She was a proud woman. She was devoted to her husband. Yeah,
Except for that little fling. But
Well, yeah, but she matured. She was young. She was young.
we'll give her a pass. It's okay.
There's no judging on my part. Even when I heard the story, there's no judging because I know the person. So she did something wrong. She tried to correct it. She kept her child. So she was still being a mother. No matter how you look at it, she was still being a mother. So the beauty of life is she's gone through his life. So anyway, we brought her home with us, and she's retired. And every so often she would go off and have a little fling, and then come back home and go off. And then she's developing her world. She would just go different places and just go. And let's see, what year was it? I think it was about 81. Bob's mom, she was having health issues, and she was on meds. She had a large heart, and she was a smoker. Oh, God, was she a smoker. But anyway, she was having breathing problems. So she went into, what do you call the...
Intensive care? Or?
No, the military hospital. What do you call the...
I don't know.
The military hospital?
Yeah, they're called something.
I feel like I would have known if you didn't ask.
Okay, they had the controversy where they're not taking care of the military people and they're not giving them the health needs that they need. What is that called?
Now I know what it is, but I can't say it either.
See, we all have brain farts.
Everybody all the time.
Veterans. It's a veterans hospital.
That's it, Veterans Hospital.
Yeah.
Well, that's where Bob's mom, because she never remarried, and she kept that
She had
benefit,
his benefits
the
package from him.
Yeah,
Service.
from the service. So she went to that hospital, and she walked in to go in for a medication change and do testings and all that kind of stuff. Well, she walked in and never walked out. And what happened, I'm going to tell you, it's a sad story, but it's also an amazing part of Bob and I's life. And I'm going to tell you why this woman defined Bob and I's lives like you would not believe.
With love and respect.
Sure, most definitely. There was all that. But she went in, and then she was in there for about 2 or 3 days. And then we get this phone call. And we said that they say that she's going to die. Her kidneys have failed. And she's just going to literally drown in her own fluids. And so we just like, oh. So we went and saw Mom, and we're talking to her and telling her that this is what's happening. And so then we go home, and then we start making the phone calls, calling the mortuary, getting all the arrangements made, calling the cemetery in Long Beach because his mom was going to be buried with his dad. And so we did that. And we made all the arrangements. Then we get a call that she went into a coma. And so we just do, it was inevitable. And I think it was 2 nights. It could have been 3. I'm not sure.
When did the...
Because that timing was stressful for us. It was like we're not paying attention to timing. But we were in bed. We just came back from seeing her and did dinner and did a couple of cocktails and went to bed. And we get this phone call from the hospital and it says, "Get down here. Your mother is cussing out everybody. We need to have you come down here to calm her down." It's just like she's just like going ballistic. So we go there and I go, "Mom, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? What are you upset about?" And then I started rubbing her feet.
I was gonna ask.
It's like, and then she's just like, calming down, calming down. And she looks at us and she goes, "Bob, you have a beer belly pocket and a champagne taste." And she looked at me and she said, "Calvin, you are the best thing that happened to my son because you love him like I loved his father." And just do it again. It just made me just like whole. It made me like complete out of the words of Francis said to me.
That your own mother wouldn't say to you. So that's something.
Yeah. I mean, it just made me tingle from inside. So that's why Francis is the most important person in Bob and I's lives, because she let us grow and she gave us truth. And that's why this podcast needs to be told, because there are true people out there. And that's it for tonight.
If you are experiencing painful thoughts or are in need of support, please reach out to someone. Your mental well-being is important to us. Mental health services are free and available to you. You have value and you are worthy of kindness and help. Reach out and talk. For 24/7 free and confidential assistance, call or text the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988, or call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 800-273-8255.